Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Run Through TV. I'm Richard Morell, and today we are going to be covering the Battersea Park 5K, our fourth fixture in the Top Flight series of 2025. We've got an action-packed set of coverage lined up for you guys today. We're going to start with a little bit of intro into the race that we've got penciled in, and then we're going to hand over trackside to our man on the ground, Lloyd Kempson, who's going to be getting some interviews with some of the athletes lining up for today's race. But before we get on with that, I feel it's a man who needs no introduction. Joining me in the studio today, we have got race director of the Top Flight series, Mr. Chris Parr, doing a rare cameo on commentary this morning.
Yeah, this is supposed to be my day off, but it's a busman's holiday, this, isn't it? You're off and you come in and you commentate on races. But no, it's great to be in the studio. Shout out to Rosie as well. So Rosie Tinnenberg is there with Lloyd on the ground. And yeah, they're going to be doing a bit of a pit walk, Formula One style, getting some light-hearted chat from the athletes before the race, and then trying to catch up with them for some interviews afterwards. Can just see some famous faces on the screen there now. Jamie, our head of communications at RunThrough, and we've got Jess floating around there as well, speaking to the athletes. We've got our two live stream bikes, Danny and Kaelin, ready to go to follow the men's and the ladies race. And yeah, all ready for some great racing and action this morning.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. I can see we've spotted Lloyd there, also our man on the ground this morning. Looking a little bit chilly, but I've had word from the course. It isn't too bad weather conditions-wise. Slight bit of a breeze there, bit overcast, but for a 5K race, that's nothing these athletes won't actually appreciate. If it's too hot, it can become even a little bit more of a chore running that 5K. So, yes, like I mentioned, we're back at Battersea Park, our second fixture at Battersea Park. If you remember back in February, we had the Battersea Park 10K as part of the Top Flight series there, where we've seen some rapid times from Cam Allen and Omar Ahmed, both dipping under that 29-minute mark, and Omar Ahmed is actually lining up for the 5K today as well. So we'll see what kind of race he can pull out. A bit of an iconic fixture when it comes to road race and Battersea Park. I think you'd agree, Chris. We've hosted some real big events there, and it just seems to be a real flat and fast course, conducive to quick times. So everything you want really from a road race. But yeah, so our plan this morning is we are going to hand over to the field team shortly. We're just going to wait from the nod from them of when they're ready to go. And we'll get some chat trackside from them guys. Chris, before we do that, anything you want to mention with regards to any of our previous events or anything like that?
Just that this series just keeps going from strength to strength. So thank you to everybody who has engaged, and yeah, let's keep pushing.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Top Flight is
on the up, absolutely. So it looks like our field team are ready there, so I will hand you over to them for some trackside chat.
Welcome running fans, Lloyd here on the ground at Battersea for today's Top Flight 5K. I'm here with Rosie and we are going to be bringing you all of the action right here on the ground. We have a hotly anticipated 5K race for you today with some incredible fields in the men's and women's races. Now, they're not just chasing points, they're also chasing the cash prizes. And if there's one thing we know about Battersea, it's going to be fast and it's going to be furious. Rosie, how you feeling?
Thanks, Lloyd. I'm really excited today. It's a little bit breezy, a little bit cloudy, but we've got lovely trees shading the line the whole way around the course. We've got 2 laps to come and it's going to be so fast and furious. I actually can't wait.
Yeah, that is absolutely bang on. And we're going to actually chat to a lot of our runners. They're just warming up behind us. We can see runners doing their drills and their final preparations before we get underway at 10:20. So we're going to try and capture some of them in the warm-up area. We're going to also talk about some of the kit that they're going to be wearing, some of the carbon shoes that we're going to be seeing. No doubt going to see some Nikes and no doubt some Adidas shoes as well. But this course is super flat. It's super fast. It's arguably the fastest place to run in London. They're going to start at the other side of the track over there, make their way out into Battersea Park, do 2 laps of the circuit, and then they're going to come back and finish right underneath this gantry here. There's going to be a lot of noise because we've also got the mass participation run-through race afterwards, which is a 10K, so they're going to have the noise of the spectators as well. But Rosie, when we think about some of the athletes to look out for today, who are you thinking is sort of like the leading names to look out for?
Well, we had Omar Ahmed entering at the last minute just earlier this weekend. I think it was last night, actually.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really exciting. He's had an absolutely storming run of form at RunThrough, so I can't wait to see what he's got on offer. And Alex Barbour as well on the women's field. She's going to be really exciting to see just how it goes today here. It is, like I said, it is a little bit breezy. You're going to see how the athletes do handle that. But with the tree sheltering it, I reckon we're still going to see some fast times and plenty of people going for that prize money.
One club that we will definitely see a lot of today is the Belgrave Harriers strip. It's the home track for the Southwestern London club. They're going to be all over the place today. Such depth in the club and history as well. So it's great to see them supporting this event. But you'll also see a lot of club vets from all over the UK supporting this event today. We'll have athletes from the north, athletes like Omar Ahmed, who's going to come from Birchfield, all to support this race. And that's exactly what Top Flight is all about. It's all about that sub-elite class, bringing club runners together to ultimately chase a new personal best and cash prizes. So we're going to take a little walk now around the track. This is the finish line area, so this is where they'll actually finish today. We're going to walk into the warm-up area in the middle of the field here, where athletes are currently registering, they're grabbing their bib numbers. We've also got vendors from food, music, drink, everything's going on here at Battersea, and we're going to have a little chat with some of the runners. But Rosie, if you were running today this race, obviously we've spoken about how flat it is, how fast it is. If you're going for the win, would it, tactically, would you be going straight from the gun, or would you be looking to kind of sit in and wait for the finishing kick?
I think personally, I mean, as a junior, I always did enjoy a front run. I think that was my excitement getting ahead of me. So I think naturally I'd be inclined to say that. But with the conditions today, I think sitting in, taking a nice little group would be the best way to go forward. It is a really, really fast-paced course. So if these athletes can just tuck in behind one of their rivals, conserve a little bit of energy, and let just the slipstream do a little bit of the work, let the shoes do a little bit of the work, and just try and let that energy build the momentum until kind of maybe the last K or so, and really put it down there, that would be absolutely phenomenal to watch and make for a really exciting race.
Yeah, last time we were here, we saw Cam Allen, it was a 10K on the day, but we saw him really take control of the race in the latter stages. It was sort of half a lap to go around Battersea Loop, where he really took charge of the race and made a finishing move, and he was rewarded with the win. But I think Battersea Park, because it is so flat and because it is so fast, it can actually get in your head a little bit if you are one of the leading athletes and looking for the win, because I think it's tempting to take the lead maybe a little bit too early rather than wait. But ultimately, we're going to have to wait and see how that pans out. Now, with London Marathon in the offering, just a week's time, some of these athletes might be in their final taper, and today might be sort of an opportunity for them to spin the legs. But when we look ahead to the Top Flight series, we have races all up and down England. We've got Shettleston in Glasgow. We have races in Jarrow. It's all over the UK. Talk to me about this series and the impact you think it's having at the moment on the sport.
Yeah, I actually think Top Flight is really promising, and I can't wait to see it grow in the next few years. Of course, it's still in its very early years, essentially. And I think the impact it has on that kind of sub-elite level racing is huge. It's not often that we get to come in and see athletes really lay it all out there for the prize money, add that extra bit of competitiveness. Of course, we've seen it a little bit with the podium series. That's been really exciting for athletes all around the country. But Top Flight seems to be refining it even more, and they are really set on having that kind of the structure all the way down the top 10, getting the points, encouraging people to come back for the series and branching out across those different disciplines. And I think that's really important, and that's why we see so many athletes coming back time and time again. And that's why we'll be seeing so many athletes using this as that fine-tune for London, and just really getting their legs turning over this shorter 5K distance, even if they have got the full marathon in a few days' time.
Yeah, as you can see just behind us, this is the starting straight. So the start line is just in front of us behind the camera here. But we've got our athletes doing their final preparations. I can see Ollie Lockley just on my right here, athlete from the Isle of Man there, doing his final preparations. He's wearing the freshest Mizuno carbons. Yeah, plenty of club vests as well. We've got Dulwich, a local club. We've got London Heathside, a local club, supporting this one as well. And it's great to see so many club athletes support these events. But we're going to walk up and down this start area now, see if we can grab a couple of runners for a chat. So if you want to follow us, Cameron, we'll make our way this way. But Rosie, when we think about this event in itself, obviously it's still early on in the year for a lot of these athletes. Maybe they're going to be doing track races this summer. You've got races like Comeback 5000 coming up, but it is still early days, and some of these athletes will be coming off the cross-country season. So how do you think they're going to fare on a sharp, hard, fast 5k around Battersea today?
I think obviously it's very dependent on the athlete themselves. I think that could vary massively depending on where those strengths lie. Cross country, of course, is known for building that strength, and some athletes will respond really, really well to that as they try and pick up the pace a little bit, get the legs turning as they move in towards the faster stuff in the summer. Other athletes need a little bit of time to try and find their track legs perhaps, and if they can do that, they might see some fast performances through the summer. As we move into kind of July, August time, we could see some of the paces really pick up. But those athletes that really do come through in the cross country, I think we're going to see them flourish and really come through strongly today.
Right, Rosie, let's go on a walk. Let's find some runners, see if they fancy a chat. Ollie Lockley's over here. Let's go and have a chat with him. Ollie, got time for a little chat? All right, mate, come on in. So we've got Ollie Lockley here, live on the live stream. You've come down for today's 5k at Battersea. What's the aim going into it? Are you looking for a quick time, knowing how fast this course is, or is it a case of just picking up some prize money and trying for the win?
I've not actually raced here, believe it or not. So my PB is 14:10. So yeah, the B goal is probably that, and then A goal is sub 14, which has eluded me for ages.
And we're used to seeing you over some of the longer distances. So what's the thought process dropping down today to the 5?
Yeah, I don't know, probably like a little bit of a midlife crisis, thinking like I might need to get my speed up a little bit.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. No, to be fair, like I did a marathon last year, didn't go to plan, and it just haven't really had the success I'd wanted at that distance. So I thought, while I'm still able to, I'll try and have a crack at the shorter stuff, and before I move up again. So yeah. And
we see you wearing Mizuno today. So you grab support from Mizuno. What's the crack with that?
Yeah, get support kit and shoes from Mizuno, which probably about a year and a half now. So. Yeah, they've been really supportive and helped me, and yeah, they're great shoes.
And the shoes you're wearing today, what are these ones?
These are the Wave Rebellion Pro 3s. This is the new colourway, so yeah, they're good.
Fingers crossed they'll be quick enough for you. Best of luck.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
So Ollie's one of our leading athletes in the men's race. As we said, he's got a personal best of 14:10, and he's potentially going to try and crack 14 minutes today. He said there, Rosie, it's a midlife crisis dropping down to 5k from a marathon. I think a lot of runners that are going to be watching this can probably relate to that.
Yeah, I think they probably can, but also I think often we see it go the other way. I seem to suddenly have come into a whole load of friends that are suddenly doing marathons, half marathons, and I've looked at them, you've never gone over 5k in your life. This is great, enjoy. But I think, yeah, the trend tends to be people have their panic and go and do a marathon. So it's interesting to see it go the other way for Ollie, and hopefully, yeah, see a great performance from him. Best of luck to him.
So come with us, we're going to see if we can chat to some more runners, but you are watching live on YouTube, RunThrough TV, so all of the action will be captured here today. We have our commentary team up in the studio that are going to be bringing you the action as well, and the comms on the ground. Me and Rosie are going to be here at the start and finish line with all the presentations, etc. as well, but there's a lot to look forward to today with photographers everywhere. There's more cameras here than Glastonbury. Honestly, this series is growing at such speed, I don't think I can keep up with it, but these, you can see the faces. They're getting a little bit more serious now, Rosie. Everyone's starting to get into their zone. So let's see if we can break that up slightly. I can see some Thames Valley Harriers on the left here, local club supporting this one as well. You know what? I haven't seen many in this start straight. I haven't seen many athletes in the in the women's race yet. Should we try and find some? There's some over here. Let's have a look. Who we got over here? I can see Simon Coppard. Are you running today, Simon? Alex? You got time for a chat, Alex? Why don't you have let's have a chat, Alex.
So how are we doing today?
Good.
Yeah, you look
a
little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Well, we won't focus too much on the race, but the shoes you're racing in today, can you talk us through that choice and what they are?
Alpha Prize. I don't actually, these are just like the only ones I have, so this is my racing ones. And they're white, so they feel fast.
White does feel fast, doesn't it, when you're in your shoes? Any bright colours, got to keep them nice and clean.
I know.
So when you come into race morning, breakfast, obviously, first thing on the table, what's your pre-race breakfast?
I mean, most of the time I'd have porridge, but this morning was a bit makeshift. I had some waffles.
I love a good waffle. That's absolutely.
I try to go with the more relaxed approach to racing nowadays. So yeah, just take it day by day.
And that more relaxed approach, I think we can see a lot of athletes doing that as we kind of progress through the summer. They try and change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But we are here at Battersea today. What do you think to racing at Battersea? Like, is it your favourite place? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I like it. I've only raced here like a couple of times, but I did New Year's Eve, and I way prefer the course of today's one because New Year's Eve we did a lot of like laps down the bandstand and back, so should be a nicer course today and nice and sheltered, nice and flat. So hopefully it's good.
And of course, on New Year's Eve, that was designed for spectators in mind to try and get a really big atmosphere. Would you choose the fewer laps over the spectators being so condensed?
I don't know. I do like the spectators, but I think just like going around the bandstand was quite a sharp turn and everything, so put you off your stride a bit. And there will still be a good spectator bit around here, so yeah. I think it'll be
Brilliant. We'll let you crack on because the rain's starting to come down and we don't want you to get cold. So best of luck, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later. But Lloyd, the rain is starting to come down. How's that going to affect the athletes?
It'll be all right. It's only a bit of spitting, isn't it? It's Peter Case that says it's spitting, but no, it's nothing serious. But Alex seems quietly confident there. She's had some waffles. But anyway, we are literally, 7 or 8 minutes away from the start. So we're going to go back to the studio now. I'm going to hand it back over to the team, and we will see you at the start. The Battersea Top Fly 5K is minutes away.
Wonderful stuff there. Lovely coverage from Lloyd and Rosie there. Some fantastic insight with the athletes there. So thanks to Ollie and Alex for giving us their time. In the crucial minutes in the build-up to a race there, there's nothing quite like it. That last sort of 5-10 minutes before a race, the nerves start going a little bit. You're going through your sort of pre-race routines and your thoughts on the race, how you're going to attack things. So for those athletes to give us a little insight into their shoes that they're wearing today and how they're feeling about things, we really do appreciate that. So as Lloyd mentioned there, it is starting to spit slightly on the course, a little bit of rain, but hopefully with the sheltered sort of environment that we've got in Battersea Park there, that shouldn't affect the athletes too much there. We can see Omar Ahmed doing some last-minute strides there around the bend. He's one of our leading entries in the men's field this morning. Also, we've got Blake Moore in there as well. Sam Gebreselassie, like I mentioned, Omar Ahmed, Ollie Lockley, who was kindly give us a bit of time before his race there. Matt Jackson, one of the Liverpool Harriers there, and Rafe Sarif from Belgrave Harriers. So some real big names in the men's race. And then, as we mentioned, Alex Barbour giving us a bit of time there pre-race. We've also got Sophie Tooley, the Herne Hill Harrier as well. Now, Sophie's an athlete that I'd marked out before this, someone who I'd like to keep an eye on during this race, because I think there could be a big performance on the cards for Sophie Tooley there. She's had a fantastic cross-country season, capped that off with a 5th at the Southern Cross Country Champs, and also 17th at the Inter-Counties. Now, Sophie's got a PB of 16:35, but she set that just 1 week after her race at the Inter-Counties cross-country champs. So no doubt there'll have been a little bit of fatigue in the legs and flicking from the cross-country races to a fast 5K, can be a bit of a shock to the body. So I'd imagine, a few weeks down the line, a bit more training under the belt, a bit more lactic, a bit more speed work starting to be brought into the training in this spring season. We could see a real strong performance from Sophie Tooley this morning. We've also got Martina Connor as well, won the Belgrave Harriers 16:39. As Lloyd mentioned, I'm sure we're going to see this field littered with Belgrave Harrier athletes, as this is their home track. They'll be very familiar with the course. So we're gonna push on with our live coverage. We're gonna drop a small advert into our feed shortly. So I'll hand that over to our production team, and we'll be back with you shortly. So we'll scratch that slight technical issue with our advert there, but we will bring you that shortly when things are back up and running in the studio. So, Battersea Park, like I mentioned before, an iconic road running venue. It always produces fast races, and we'd had a fixture back here, the 10K, as was previously mentioned, with 2 athletes going under 29 minutes there. Battersea Park itself, situated in the Wandsworth Borough of London, opened in 1858. And does boast 200 acres of green space. So if Mr. Chris Parr was looking to put on a top flight ultra marathon, I'm sure Battersea Park would have the space to host that. Yeah, exactly. You've got to do your research. Yeah, plenty to do in Battersea Park, but one of the sort of picturesque features of the park is the bandstand where the race does finish. But there's a small boating lake and a little children's zoo in there as well. So Battersea Park, not just a friendly environment for fast road racing, Chris, a friendly environment for the family as well. So it looks like our athletes are making their way to the start line now. We've got 3 minutes until those athletes, the gun goes and the handbrake is off. As our tagline for the event, all gas, no brakes. So this could be a real quick race this morning. Bit more detail on some of the athletes in our field. So Blake Moore, the Windsor, Slough, Eton and Hounslow athlete, he was 60 at Battersea in the 10K back in February, but he has recently clocked a new road 5K PB of 13:52, and he done that at the Podium event back in March. So I think we'll see. Well, I know we'll see a lot of athletes with PBs that were set in Podium. That's another event that's growing a great speed and providing fast races for that sub-elite group of athletes there, and they pop them onto fast race courses like we're trying to do here with Top Flight as well. We've got Jed Nobler in there, the Luton athlete. He's got 14:27 5K PB, and that was set in Battersea at the end of February under the Friday night under the lights 5K. That was just outside his PB that was set the previous day of 14:22, which again, as you can guess, was set at Podium. We've also got Sam Gebreselassie in there, another Belgrave Harrier. Where to start with Sam Gebreselassie, he's our series leader. He's picked up wins at Newcastle in an epic battle with Omar Ahmed, and he also followed that up with the Battersea Park 10K third place, setting a new PB of 29:19. So that was a strong run from Sam Gebreselassie there. Then he followed it up with another win at the Surrey Half Marathon, where he blazed a victory in 65:39, and it was a 1 second PB, but a PB nonetheless. And he was beating Jonathan Cornish there. That was a fantastic race, very cat and mouse between him and Jonathan Cornish there. So, Sam, he knows Battersea Park well. He's won here before. He won in April 2024 over 5K and 14:30. So can he emulate that victory today and even go quicker?
Yeah, really looking forward to this now. The team on the ground said that it is a little bit blowy, so could affect the times, but Battersea Park is very flat, very fast, like we've just said, and there's trees all the way around there. It's in the middle of London, which is a concrete jungle. Oh no, that's New York, but London's similar. So you are quite protected from the wind there, and yeah, looking forward to it. So who are you shouting? You're gonna nail your colours?
So in the ladies' race, Sophie Tooley for me. I mentioned on the comms earlier, Chris, how she's had a fantastic run of form on the cross and followed it up with a 16:35 at Podium a week after finishing in the top 20 at Intercounties. Now, we know the standard of Intercounties races, so to finish in the top 20, you've got to be in some shape. And then a week later to run a 16:35. Yes, it's not as quick as Alex Barbour's PB of 16:21, but I've got a feeling there's been a bit of fatigue in the legs there, and the trainer might not have quite been there to run a quick 5K. So I think today my money's on Sophie Tooley. And in the men's race, it's a tough one. It is a real tough one. The form book says Blake Moore, the sub 14-minute 5K runner who's ran that recently as well. I've got a sneaky feeling Sam Gebreselassie could pull something out the bag because we know that he knows how to win. He's won here before, so he's a one to watch for me.
Obviously, you can't count out Omar.
You can never count out Omar Ahmed. Absolutely not. I think the only thing with Omar is his prep might be slightly off because it was a last-minute entry because a train got cancelled. He couldn't get back home last night. So we thought, well, if I can't get back home tonight, I'll go earn some money and I'll go run a top flight race at Battersea Park in the morning. So we don't know what his build-up's been, but you can never count out Omar Ahmed. Absolutely not, Chris. You're right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's... actually, on the ladies' side, there's Eliane Bergskål as well from Norway, where actually we had put her PB down as 16:49, but she more recently ran 16:29, so I think she's probably going to be right up in the mix as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be good to see how the ladies' race unfolds. And also, when we look down there, we often mention about the middle distance guys. There's a few runners in here on the men's side. Charlie Wiley with a 1:58 PB, 3:44. So, there,
yeah.
if it comes down to a sprint finish, the distance boys might not have it all their own way with some of these fast lads in there, like Matt Jackson, 1:51, 3:46.
Yeah, I mean...
Blake Moore as well, 1:51, 3:42.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, there's some top quality runners here.
Yeah. So we need the countdown there, probably about 30 seconds until the athletes get underway. Yeah, Chris, as you mentioned there, the finishing speed. Blake Moore's an interesting one, 1:51 and 3:42 over 1,500. He must have decided to make a move up to 5K because I noticed he hasn't really ran many 8s or 15s since about 2022, 2023. So it's an interesting move from him, gone up to 5K. But we can see the bikes are away and it looks like we are off in the Battersea Park 5K, the fourth fixture in the Top Flight Series of 2025. We can see some of the spectators already lining the park sides there, and straight to the front. It's predictable with Omar. We know what he's going to do. He likes to get out there and he likes to run hard, but he surged right to the front and he's broke this field up straight away. We can see they're almost single file there. Omar Ahmed, the slight figure of Omar Ahmed there. He's got a lovely running cadence, Chris, I'd say. I think he's always looks nice and light on the feet. Doesn't look as though he's exerting a lot of energy in other directions. It's all travelling forward from him. He's a lovely looking runner, isn't he, Chris?
Yeah, he does. He always looks good, and like you said, he always likes to just get out hard and makes everybody run for their money. Just a note on the cameras, because we often get some comments here on the chats. The way that we do our coverage, we're trying to take as much footage of the ladies' field as well. So we've got two separate live streams coming, and sometimes they're not perfectly in sync. So we've got Danny's recording the men's field, which you can see on the main camera shot here. And then in the top left, we've got Caelan, who'll drop back and pick out the ladies, and he'll try and get as much footage as possible. But yeah, for those who are commenting that the pictures aren't aligned, they're not, and there's a little bit of buffering involved. So even if we did try and reset them, it could be that in like 2 or 3 minutes they're out of line again. So yeah, we're trying our best with it, but that's what you got to keep an eye out on. The top left, we'll pick out the ladies, and on the bottom right, we'll pick out the men's. We've also got the GPS that comes from the lead bike, so it's pretty accurate, but it's not 100% on. So yeah, it's there just as a guide. So if it finishes on 5.1K or whatever, that's why that is. But it'll give you a really good indication. The bike's starting about 30 or 40 meters up, and yeah, we'll have a look for when they go past various signs. We've also got some split timing mats, so hopefully we can give a bit of feedback for how people are getting on further down the field, trying to be a bit interactive. And yeah, it's already looking pretty good. I can just spot Jamie on the left side there in his line bike, trying to take some really close-up action.
Yeah, Jamie's got a hell of a job trying to keep up with these athletes at the front, but also staying safe and not coming off the bike like some of our camera crew did in our previous race at Battersea Park. But back to the front, it looks like Omar Ahmed, he's stolen a little bit of a march on the field here, Chris, and I feel like maybe they're not too keen to go with him. He set off with some real intent. He hit the front from the gun, as Omar normally does, and it looks to me, he looks to be pulling away slightly. We can see Blake Moore back in the pack there in third place. I think that's Ollie Lockley in second as well. But Omar Ahmed looks to have got a bit of a gap on the field. Now that's not something that the rest of this pack don't want to let that gap develop too much, because over 5K, it's not like the longer races where you've got the 10Ks and the half marathons where you can really close in on them gaps and shorten them down in quite over, say, a mile or two. This is quite a short race. It's 3 miles. So if too much of a gap builds up, then an athlete of Omar's quality, they're not going to be able to pull him back there. And it looks as though he's probably got about 10 metres on the rest of the field. Now, also what that does for Omar as well is it just builds confidence in him that he's pulled away from the field. He's in control. We've seen he done this at Aintree, the 5K Aintree. He got away from the pack early on and he just built and built and built on that lead and stole away from them there. So we can see Blake Moore. He'll have his eyes set on Omar Ahmed. He may have been a little bit cagey over that first K and not wanted to commit too much, but you can see he looks as though he's closing in on second place now, and he'll be thinking that if he needs to move to try and bridge that gap, he's probably going to have to be the athlete in that second pack that's going to have to do so. So yeah, Omar Ahmed out on the front there, looking relaxed, looking controlled, and like I mentioned before, a beautiful running style that Omar Ahmed possesses there. Looking back into the second camera feed, just trying to pick out some of the female athletes that we've got there. As I mentioned, we had Alex Barbour and Sophie Tooley were the two to watch out for me. So as soon as we can get some coverage of them, we will bring you information and let you know how those two are performing. On the day, we can see one of the lead female athletes there, and we'll bring some information on that athlete as soon as we can get that through.
Looks like an Aldershot vest, that, doesn't it?
It does look like an Aldershot vest, yes. Aldershot vest with the matching red socks as well. So as soon as we can find out who that athlete is, we will bring you some coverage on them.
Just looking at the pace there, Danny's lead bike pace there is at 2:51 per K, so that's just shy of 14:10. And we know the top flight bonus time for today is on 14:15 for the men's. So at the moment, well, if it's 2:51, he's on for 14:15 on the nose. So yeah, Omar's set his stall out from the start and is pushing on, looking really good and relaxed, and he's already looking around over his shoulder. If somebody wants to beat him, they're going to have to close this gap. Because like you said, he's a front runner, and if a front runner gets a gap, they're going to just keep that confidence of going on. We've seen that in some of the other races where Omar hasn't quite had it all his own way. There's been a group around. He's put in some surges, but people have closed the gap and got on him. And then he's put in a surge, and then that surge actually eventually backfired because it got to the finish, and there's only so much you can go into the well, and there's only so much lactic you can tolerate before your body just goes, I can't do another kick again.
Yeah. That's absolutely right there, because I think the way, not that I want to lay a blueprint out, but I think the way to beat Omar Ahmed is to almost meet fire with fire. You've got to track him, you've got to push him, you've almost got to call his bluff a little bit and maybe go to the front and hit the front and try and break him that way. We've seen that Cam Allen managed to do that in fantastic form back in the 10K Battersea Park fixture that we had in February time. They both ran exceptionally well that day, both under 29 minutes. So, it's not like Cam Allen just turned up with no form and thought, right, okay, well, this is how I'm going to beat him. Cam Allen is a quality runner. But yeah, I think that's the way. If you're gonna break Omar Ahmed, that's the way to do it. But look at the course, littered with spectators there. It's fantastic to see these amount of spectators out cheering on these athletes there and giving them support as we come up to around about the halfway mark now, probably around about 7 minutes, 7:05 through that 2.5K mark. So Omar Ahmed looks like he's built a significant lead. Now that gap always looks quite short when the camera angle's straight down head on with the athletes there, but I bet that second pack are looking forward and thinking that Omar Ahmed's built quite the lead at this point. Now, what they do need to do is, if they are going to make an assault on Omar's lead, they need to be working together and almost recognise that as a group. And almost make some kind of silent agreement that they're going to push on together to get on the back of Omar Ahmed. But with coming up to about 2K to go, Omar Ahmed looks well away here.
Yeah, just looking at the group just behind, so it looks like about a 4 or 5 second gap to that group. In that group, though, there's quite a lot of very good runners. The ones who we had mentioned and a few others. So there's Tom Hugenboon is in there. Derry McCluskey, Oliver Newman, Blake Moore, Jacob Trangmar. They're all right up there. Ollie Lockley's up there, who we'd mentioned. Charlie Wiley, Matt Snowden. They're all hanging in that second group or just behind. I'm going to have a quick look down now to see how we're getting on with the leading ladies coming in. We've got Corbin Reynolds was right up there at the sub 3 minute pace through the first K at least. So yeah, that's a very promising start. We also had, I'm trying to find our Aldershot athlete, but we got an under 17 athlete who's quite well up there, Sabrina Capola Johansson from Epsom. Eliane went through went through 3:03 pace for the first K. So yeah, we've got quite, Alex Barbour is up there, Ruby Carter, Alex Crane. So they're the top 5 leading ladies through the first checkpoint.
Yeah.
I'll get the second checkpoint.
It looks like the Aldershot athlete is Kitty Scott. We've had word from the course there that it is Kitty Scott, the Aldershot athlete there, who's leading the women's race at the moment. I mean, she's looking great. She's looking comfortable at the moment, Chris. It looks like she's been on the front of that race from the off, caught in a little bit of no man's land at the moment. Could do with some support from any of the other sort of surrounding athletes there. She's maybe got to try and get on the back of the pack in front of her. I'm not quite sure how far in front that pack is though, so maybe, quite a task in hand there. But yeah, Kitty Scott, the Aldershot athlete there, looking strong. Coming in with she's probably got just under about 2K to go now, so nearing the final kilometres of the race. Now that's where it always digs. That K between 3 and 4K I always find was the hardest one in a 5K race. Chris, I don't know how you would feel about that. But that's sort of that third to fourth K was a real tough one to get out the way.
I've tried to go conservative in my old age and wisdom, so I try to go the first 3K without really putting as much effort in as you would usually think, and then just try and wind it up a little bit from there. Just getting the second split point there from the lady. So yeah, you're right. It's Kitty Scott from Aldershot, under 15. Wow. So
apparently under 17.
Under 17.
Yeah.
It's weird on the age group. So maybe she is under 15 on the road still, because they change on the 31st of August, the year prior to competition for UK road things. So there's always a bit of nuance there where the age group changes between cross country, track and road, and it's a bit daft really, but I think they are changing those. We mentioned that in one of the podcasts really,
we did
start changing the age groups. We've got Karen Zhang, so we did mention we're going to have lots of support from Belgrave Harriers. So second, third and fourth through the split at halfway was Karen Zhang, Penny Oliver, Alex Barbour, all Belgrave Harriers, Tara Bage from Brighton Phoenix. So there's a little group there where they've gone through in around about between around about 3:14 to 3:18 pace for quite a few of them. I might have missed some because of how the results have come up, but it's looking pretty tasty, and it looks like there's two of the ladies there are now locked together, which is
yeah. Kitty Scott's got a bit of company now. Her athletes came onto her shoulder there, so she's gonna have to really try and compose herself going into that final K.
It's Eliane who's right up there.
Eliane's pulled him onto the shoulder there. But as we say that, it looks like Kitty Scott has put in a little surge there. She's got fantastic form, Kitty Scott, Chris. Lovely stride, arm cadence there, looking fantastic there. So going into the last K for Kitty Scott and Eliane there. So some fantastic running from them guys there. As we can see, Omar Ahmed, he's approaching probably about 600 metres to go now. And, he's had it all his own way this morning, Chris. He hit it from, it's another gun-to-tape performance from Omar Ahmed. So he's going to score maximum points in the series this morning. It's now a question of whether he's going to get that time bonus or not. 14.15 was the time bonus. So anything under that, he looks as though he's on for it. He's looking fantastic now as he approaches about 500 metres to go. With two streams bringing all the action there. Omar Ahmed on the front of the men's race there, and Kitty Scott leading out the ladies' race with Eliane hot on her heels. It looks like third place athlete as well. Seems to be coming into shot as well. So she's going to be joining that pack. So we could be in for an absolute barnstormer of the last 400-500 metres in this females in the female race this morning. But Omar Ahmed on the front, striking for home with about 350 metres to go. He looks good, doesn't he, Chris?
Yeah, he's looking class. So it's looking like he's going to be well under that 14:15 pace, which is quality. It's exactly what we expected from Omar. So yeah, great work. He went through 4K on 11 minutes. So yeah, we're expecting him to be right up there. We've got Nathan Mapalise following it with it. They're within shot there, though. Rich, are they actually closing?
They may be closing slightly. I did actually think that. They may be closing slightly, but they haven't got enough time left. Omar's got about 100 metres to go here, and he looks well away from that. But we can see the ladies' race hotting up. But back to the men's field. Omar Ahmed striking for home now, about 50 metres to go. It's been another emphatic performance. I tell you what, second place is really rallying, but they've probably left it a little bit too late. Onto the track they go. Omar Ahmed striking for home. Another dominant display from him. There was no messing, all gas, no brakes. Omar Ahmed takes the 5K. Top flight Battersea Park fixture there. Second place looked like Blake Moore to me.
Yeah, second, third, and fourth. We've got Nathan Mapley, Ton Hugenboom, Ollie Lockley.
Ollie Lockley across the line there.
Close.
So we'll bring the times, official times to you as soon as we can. But look at this women's race hotting up now. I think is it Sophie Tooley that's on the front now, Chris?
There's about 5 women who went through, who are like back to back to back here. But it looks like the leading pack is Kitty Scott, Eliane Verkskull, Alice Crane. They're the 3 who
Alice Crane, right. Sorry, not together. Sophie Tooley on the front there. So, yeah, Alice Crane looks to have hit the front. Eliana sat in second place there. It looks like they have taken a couple of metres out of Kitty Scott there, our early race leader, who really sort of set the tempo for the race. But we mentioned this in the podcast, Chris. There was a lot of them bunched around that 16:15 to 16:35, 16:40 mark. So we knew it was going to be a race, and we can see that unfolding fantastically here for these athletes there. And this is what we want from these top flight fixtures. We want close races, we want competitiveness, but we also want that at a fast pace. So this is what we're getting this morning.
Yeah, class. And this is going to, well, what we want is a very, very competitive race at the front end, and that's what we've got. So there's a big surge here, and yeah, we're now at a point where it's maybe about 300-400 metres to go.
Yeah, I would say about 300 metres to go. We see them.
It's all to play for.
They hit the blue cones, and that's around about the 200-metre mark. So it looks like Alice Crane does seem to be taking a little bit out of second place there. So we're going to see another fantastic finish here. Now, what Alice Crane has got that's going to be beneficial to her, she's got athletes in front of her, so she can be pulling on them all the time. But as I say that, look at this kick, Chris. About 150 metres to go. Eliana has hit the front. She hits the track, takes that bend well, and it's look at the arms pumping, knees driving. Great cadence, and she's storming away that last 100 metres there. So that's a fantastic win for Eliana there. Looked as though she was broken by Alice Crane, but Eliana's going to take our 5K top flight fixture for 2024 in the ladies race there. Fantastic running from there. Alice Crane in second place.
Yeah, we should see on the main screen now, because the cameras weren't quite in sync. So just looking at the finish time there, 16:45, 16:46, just outside there.
Kitty Scott there across in third place. Well, brilliant run from her. So the under 17 or under 15, unsure of which age group she falls into on the road, but, you know, fantastic run from her there. Brilliant running. We see our 4th place athlete across the line there. So some fantastic runs there, Chris. We'll bring you guys the results as soon as we get them through on our open track system there. But yeah, some brilliant runs there, Chris. I'm going to put you on the spot straight away, mate. Standout performance of the day. Hit me with it.
You know what, Kitty impressed me, given how young she was. She took a leaf out of Omar Ahmed's book and just hit the front hard from on the ladies' race. Pushed on, absolutely unrelenting. I don't know whether she's one of Mick Wood's athletes, but I mean, she's certainly coming from that Aldershot Farnham district state.
Yeah.
She's just produced, led by Mick for 30 odd years. I know they've got many other coaches there, so she might not be, but yeah, certainly Aldershot Farnham district continuing to deliver the sub-elite UK level. fantastic.
Yeah, you're right there, Chris. Mick Wood's done some fantastic things over the years. Some big names came out of that stable. Yeah, I think for me, it's hard not to look past Omar's performance on the day. I think if I'm not going to agree with you on Kitty Scott's performance, I mean that was a fantastic run, and I was really impressed with her. But just to add a little bit of variety in there, I think Omar Ahmed's run was something a little bit special there. Again, Gunter tape, solid run from the off. Like we said on the tagline, Omar Ahmed epitomises the term all gas, no brakes. He just hits it hard. It's a hard way to run that, Chris, isn't it? Like, he could sit in the pack and maybe push on it with 2K to go. Maybe he doesn't think his strengths lie there, but mentally it's quite hard knowing that you're going out there and you're just running hard from the front. And if the field go with you, they go with you. If they don't, then you break them and you win. It's a tough tactic.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just looking at some of the results now. We've got Omar, obviously, with the win, 14:20 to come up there as the gun time. And then Tom Hoobigenboom, Nathan Mapperley, Ollie Lockley were very close, as we've seen, 14:24, 25:26. Blake Moore, 14:30. Oliver Newman, 14:39. Derry McCluskey, 14:41. We've got, 11 who've gone under 15 minutes there, which is great on the men's side. And then I will scroll down until I can see the ladies' results as they've come across the line there already, just to get some confirmation. So we had Eliane Bergskull, 16:48. We had Kitty Scott, 16:54. Ruby Carter, 17:02. Alex Barbour, 17:06. Alice Crane, 17:08. Darcy Hay, 17:30. So yeah, some fantastic performances right up and down the field. Excellent.
Yeah, Chris, I couldn't agree more with you there. Some fantastic runs there. Looks like it was a nice morning for a fast 5K there. So, Chris, obviously the event's going to unfold live in Battersea Park. They're going to be getting on with the presentations and milling around the athlete village there. Again, we've mentioned how, the Top Flight series is growing. This is only the second year that we've done this, and the sort of the support that we've got from the athletes and the feedback that we've got from the athletes, most of it is positive. Some of the negatives we have taken on board and we're trying to address them all the time. Things like our production side of things, we're always looking to improve that to make this the best racing program for the athletes across the UK to start with. Who knows where we go after that? But Chris, obviously, I've got the benefit of having the race director in the studio with me this morning, so I don't necessarily have to do as much homework on the next fixtures because I'm sure they're imprinted on your mind. So do you want to give us an outset of what we've got coming up over the next few months for our Top Flight series?
So next up, we've actually got a track race at Gateshead. So that's part of RunThrough's Newcastle Gateshead Marathon, Half Marathon and 10K event. So we're going to have more than 3,000 people doing athletics in Gateshead Stadium that day, which is class.
Yeah.
And once the marathon's finished and cleared up, we're going to have some 800s and 3Ks, which are Top Flight collabed with the British Milers Club and the England Athletics Regional Council, who are really keen to bring some really high quality events on the track in the Northeast. So we're supporting that. And straight after that, we are in Shettleston, which is our first Top Flight race, actually RunThrough's first ever race in Scotland. So we're collabing with Shettleston Harriers, and then following that, Helensburgh and Dumbarton AC for the Babcock 10K series. So the first of which is Shettleston. We've got a really good field there, so we'll be doing a podcast on that really soon. And yeah, after that, we come back to Battersea actually in June, which is the midweek one on the 25th of June. So mid-track season for those who've been sharpening up a bit. Then in July, we are on to Aintree, 20th of July there, which is another really flat, fast loop. And
yeah, that's the race course, isn't it?
Yeah, so where they hold the Grand National. So last year we had Omar won actually.
He did, yeah.
Men's side.
And guess what? He ran at Gunter tape as well.
He did, and we had Amy Eloise Neal.
Yes.
Who won the ladies' race there. And then we're back to the Quayside 5K in August, the 6th of August, which yeah, as always, absolutely rapid. We've actually got another Quayside 5K next week as well for the Northeast contingent to roll out at. So yeah, all very positive, and yeah, we're looking forward to just keeping the ball rolling, keeping the momentum, get the really good UK-based athletes in, and some international flavour. Like we've got Elian come across today. We've had quite a lot of internationals in the races now, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we had Thomas Hugenboom in the men's as well, and we had another athlete from the Netherlands, I believe, in the men's race as well. So, yeah, it's great to see that the events are getting some traction from outside the UK as well. But yeah, I think to start with, it's all about developing this sub-elite road racing scene, because there's there's other vendors that are doing this kind of stuff. The work the Podium have done has been fantastic. So we're looking to work on the same sort of hymn sheet as them guys, and really bring road running, the quality of road running in the UK up a notch, because the athlete talent bed is there. We only have to look at like the traction that the races like Valencia get, for instance. We can do that in the UK. Yes, the weather can be a limiting factor sometimes, but overall, it's there's definitely scope to improve that game in the UK. So yeah, some fantastic results from today's race. Chris, any thoughts on the race itself? Any sort of highlights? I know you've picked out your performer of the day, but any sort of key takeaways from the race or anything like that?
Well, we know Battersea's fast, and yeah, we did get told that is a bit cold and windy today, so I think that maybe affected the times. Just looking in terms of the prize money, so the leading men, leading male and female, will both get £200 for the win today because they were outside of the bonus times that we'd set. So yeah, £200 for the wins, but importantly for the Top Flight Series, the top 10 athletes all get points. So that works out a bit like Formula One. So you get 25 points for the win, down to 1 point for 10th place. That doesn't depend on time. So it means if you do get a windy, cold, wet day, then your points still count. Your best 3 results count in the overall series, which has got a separate prize pot from £1,000 for the win down to £100 for 10th. So yeah, we'll pass over to the presentation now, which is going to be great.
Next up we have our top 3 in the men's race today. Making sure they're all here. Well, I've got 2 of them at least. In 3rd place, congratulations to Nathan Napoli! Alright, not bad, Battersea, not bad. We'll warm it up, In 2nd place, here he is, Belgrave Harriers. Alright, there we go. And your winner taking home maximum points and all the dough, once more, Battersea Park, make some noise for all of our finishers today! Best of luck to you runners today, running around Battersea Park. I bet you are pumped now.
So our official results are through, and I will recap those for you now. So we had Eliane in 1st place in 16:48. 2nd place was in fact Sophie Tooley in 16:51, the Herne Hill athlete. She was the one that I'd mentioned in the build up to the race there. Some strong cross-country form from Sophie Tooley. So good to see that transitioning across onto the road, and a solid 5k outing for her this morning. 3rd place we had Kitty Scott in 16:54, our under 15 Aldershot Farnham athlete. So that's a fantastic run from her. Down in 4th place, we had Ruby Carter, 17:02. Alex Barbour, who we had the pre-race interview with, in 17:06. Alice Crane in 17:08. Darcy Hay in 17:30. So some real strong performances from our leading women there. So just to recap there, Eliane in first place, 16:48. Sophie Tooley in second place in 16:51, and Kitty Scott in third place in 16:54. And yeah, some strong runs from those athletes there. Over to the men's side, of course, we had Omar Ahmed hitting it from the front in 14:20. Second place was Tom Hoogboom in 14:24. That's a big run for Tom Hoogboom there. Third place was Nathan Mapley in 14:25. Fourth, Ollie Lockley, 14:26. And Blake Moore down in fifth in 14:30 there. So the form book was sort of turned on its head a little bit there, Chris. Tom Hoogboom with a strong run there, pushing Ollie Lockley and Blake Moore, some of our pre-race favourites, down the list a little bit there. What I will say, no Sam Gebreselassie this morning, so we didn't see him racing today for whatever reason. Would have been interesting to see how he would have tackled Omar Ahmed this morning. But yeah, some brilliant runs from our athletes there. We can see them all milling around the athlete village now. Things getting ready for the Masters 10K that we've got going off this morning. So you can see there's a real buzz around that athlete event village this morning. That's what one of the things that we're always keen at pushing with RunThrough and Top Flight is making these races an event, not just a race, an event itself. So everything that goes around with that. We're going to wrap up our live feed shortly. Before we do that, I'm just going to hand over to Chris for 1 second.
Yeah, just looking at the champagne spray there. Well, the no Secco spray. Omar's struggling a little bit with his bottle. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Richard. Hopefully we can get a few... It looks like hopefully nobody's in the front row getting that thrown over them. Hopefully we can get a few interviews. So yeah, we'll hang around for that. And I guess just another mention to our sponsor for today, which was Beet-it.
Beet-it,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a podcast with Beet-it soon to discuss their product. I'm not sure. Have you tried it before?
Haven't tried Beet-it's product, no. I have tried the old beetroot juice, but yeah, I haven't tried Beet-it's product. And I feel like things will have, since the days when I was trying the beetroot juice experimentation, I feel like Beet-it have probably nailed the science behind it a little bit more and will deliver it a lot better than was to me when I had it.
Yeah, exactly. That's us showing our age now. But I remember in about 2018, 19, around then, I was ordering the boxes of 24 of them and what was doing it regular. And yeah, I did think that it worked. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having those guys on, discussing the science behind the product. And yeah, we've got a discount code actually as well. So you can get 15% discount on all orders if you use all capital letters RunThrough15 at beet-it.com. So yeah, it's nitrates product, which I know some people will already have done some research. So you have your bit of beetroot juice, you improve your nitrate level, which actually I'm not going to go too much into the science, but it does help with oxygen delivery and with proven results. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. Looks like we should be able to get some interviews post-race, which is fantastic. So
yeah.
We'll hand over to the field team when it looks like they're about to go on. We have, like I've said a few times, yeah, we've got this little bit of delay, so we can see when they're just about ready, but we don't have 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to interrupt the photo shoot there, but it looks like Rosie is ready to go live, so we'll hand you over to those guys.
Okay, for Top Flight, Eliane, our winner. That was a fast and furious finish and a hell of a race. Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, it was really fun because I could see on the start list or in Instagram that there were lots of female runners pretty close in time. So normally I run kind of my own race. This morning I told my fiance that today I want to try to have like a battle, and it wasn't a personal best, but it was a really cool fight together with the other girls, and yeah, I like that.
And sometimes that's what it's about, isn't it? Times are great, but sometimes we love to just race each other.
Exactly.
And it looked brilliant out there. What was the atmosphere like?
Oh, I love it. It's like so many people around, and yeah, great atmosphere in the start, so many good runners, and also people along the park. It was a little bit windy, so it was good to have other runners also, but yeah, I love the race.
That's brilliant. Obviously, we've got the mass races going on a little bit later. Do you think that added to the atmosphere and added to the kind of the electric buzz around the finish line?
Yeah, it was lots of people around the finish probably preparing for their own race, and yeah, we can also maybe give them some energy for their race, so it's really nice, yeah.
And what's coming up next for you?
Next weekend I have a 10k race in Oslo, Sentrumsløpet. It's a Norwegian race, and then I have my trail World Cup season. So I'm going to Italy and then China, Switzerland and Slovenia.
Well, we can't wait to see you out and about on the circuit. Hopefully we catch up with you again soon, and hopefully it won't be long till we see you back at Top Flight. A huge congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Death, taxes, and Omar Ahmed winning the Top Flight. You've seen it all. Omar, you took the win again, 14:20. How are you feeling at the moment?
Yeah, I feel all right. The first mile I go hard, so I thought someone will be helping me, but I couldn't find anyone, so I just carry on, then win the race. Yeah, I'm feeling good, yeah.
Omar, you always go hard from the gun. It's just your style of racing. But I looked at you after the first lap. You looked comfortable, and you had a slight gap on the field. Was you worried that maybe they were going to catch you at the end?
Yeah, but the first 2 mile I was go hard, and then I couldn't find anyone. And the last mile I slowed down, and then I just keep looking behind me. So yeah, I'm very worried if someone is kicking me so they can catch me. But at the last 800 I couldn't see anyone, so I just decided to win the race. I'm so happy.
And you've been a big ambassador for this event series over the last couple of years. Why do you keep coming back to the Top Flights?
Yeah, I really like to compete with the Top Flight series. They are good guys, so especially that Chris, so he always chatting with me. So I really love to racing the Top Flight series. I can't wait for next competition.
Well, you've taken maximum points and £200 cash. Not a bad start to the weekend.
Yeah, I decided to win this top series again. So yeah, hopefully I will win this year again. Yeah.
See you at the next one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant coverage there from Lloyd and Rosie. Thanks for that. Some nice insights into the athletes' thoughts post-race there. Chris, a special shout-out from Omar to you there. I see that raised a little smile in the studio when he said Chris is always chatting with me. That must mean that Chris Parr's getting into Omar Ahmed's messages. Do you want to race this one? Do you want to race that one?
Yeah, exactly. It's great that, we've said a few times, it's great that we've had like some very good runners wanting to come back to run more, because that obviously means that we're doing something right. So yeah, Omar's a great lad. He loves racing, and there's a few times where I've had to say, yeah, come on Omar, I know that, like, let's get in our race instead. And he's always been really keen to come up and support the races, which is fantastic, because if Omar's on the start line, he's going to run hard.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get fast competition and really competitive races. If Omar's there, that's guaranteed. You've got to run hard for your money. So yeah, thanks for Omar to continue to support the events and the others who keep coming back, which is fantastic.
Yeah, there's a few regulars that dot in there. I think the interview with Eliane was interesting as well, that how she was saying that one of the things that she liked about the race is seeing that there was a good list of women all around a similar time to her. So she'd known that prior to the race that it was actually maybe not just going to be a time trial event like it can be in some of other races, and it was more how she said to her fiance that it was going to be a battle today, and she went to battle and she came out on top, and it was good to see that race developed in 3 athletes coming into that last 500 meters, all within touching distance of that first place, but there could only be one at the end of the day, and that was Eliane. So fantastic to hear them thoughts from her, and we wish her well. Seems like she's got plenty of racing to do around the world, going out to China to race, and she's racing in Oslo next weekend as well. So we wish her the best of luck with her races going forward, and hopefully we see her back in a Top Flight series race again. I think from me and Chris in the studio, should we wrap things up now, Chris?
Yeah, so thank you very much for everybody for joining us, and yeah, thanks Rich for being on the mic. And we'll see everybody soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been another fantastic Top Flight event, and like Chris mentioned, we will be back with our live coverage and podcasts for the Shettleston race that is next on our Top Flight fixture.
All right, cheers.